You tell a Victorian child, like, hey, I'm broadcasting myself as a dog across the world, that kid would have a heart attack and die. I don't know, I think it's interesting, right? The idea that in, like, especially the fandom, I think it's because the public perception of the fandom is just always going to be a little rough. A little rough? You know, I can't control how everyone perceives me, but I think the public perception that we get is stupid. It's stupid. People who think furries are weird just have gotten so deep into their heads that life should not be whimsical and life should not be fun. And it's the same people who are probably like anti-kink at Pride and like anti-queer and anti anything that does not align with their pre-existing values. I'm like, you're probably really unfun. This is just my thing that I do, and it's not that serious. This is also just a thing that I'm meant to do for fun, and I think taking it too seriously is something that a lot of us could benefit from taking a step back from and enjoying the fact that maybe you should just have fun. Maybe you should just enjoy yourself. Maybe it's not that heckin' serious, my guy. It could just be so chill. Like, people could just enjoy the fact that there's dogs running around. I keep saying dogs because I'm a dog, but obviously not everyone's a dog. I don't know, like, I'm just gonna do whatever I think is fun. And turns out the thing that I find the most fun in my life is to dress up as a dog, and that is it. I think in this day, unfortunately, in this like media landscape, I think there's this weird like idea that to be kind is cringe, and I'm like, no. To be kind is basic human decency, actually, and to be kind should be the default, but instead people think it's radical to be kind, and I'm like, no, maybe you should just be nice. maybe that's the dog in me talking, being like, you could just try being nice. But I guess, like, yeah, it just astonishes me now that, like, the default idea of somebody acting on the internet is to be a bit of a dick. And I'm like, maybe you could just be nice. Have we considered that you could just be nice? I don't know. I guess I've just lived a lot of my life, like, being a big softie. Like, I've always been a bit of a softie. I'm like, I'm a dog. Of course I'm a softie. But also I've been very, like, lighthearted. I've tried to keep a certain level of, like, frivolity and whimsy in my life. And I think that reflects through the way that I talk to people. And I think perhaps more people could benefit from being slightly nicer. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a dog. What are your thoughts, guys? You think it's best to be nice? I don't know. Is that a radical statement these days? I think something that I have been thinking about a lot lately is the pressure we put on anybody starting to do anything on the internet to be the most profound, perfect version of themselves. And do all the internet, social media influencer stuff, like, correctly, when it's like, this wasn't a thing like 10-20 years ago. Like, this wasn't a thing. We're still so this career is still so baby. And the idea of, like, I don't know, you tell a Victorian child, like, hey, I'm broadcasting myself as a dog across the world to people watching, and people find it entertaining, that kid would have a heart attack and die. I think we need to have a little more, like, slack and kindness to the people just wanting to make cool stuff on the internet. Because making cool stuff on the internet is hard, and one of the reasons it's hard is because everyone expects you to do it perfectly. And I'm not about that shit. I'm about DIY till I goddamn die. I'm about, like, just doing it for the fun of it. And if things aren't, like, perfect quality, I don't care. You know who cares about, like, perfect quality? Elitists. And I'm not here for that. Yeah, I just think a little bit more kindness and grace given to, like, small creators to be more chill. And, like, we shouldn't have such big expectation on, like, small creators to just be the most perfect version of themselves. And I think there's a level of like, we also apply that to people like running small businesses, and people, just like the expectations that we have come so deeply from like mass market production and from like celebrities, that I'm like, when just like a regular person does it, you've gotta have a different set of expectations, right? You've gotta have a different level of understanding and kindness towards that person. And I don't know, I've just been thinking a lot about that, where I'm like, I think the expectations that we put on people on social media is kind of fucked up. And I think, especially like the furry community, could probably do well to be a little kinder. I think kindness goes a long frickin' way. And kindness and understanding is kind of like my whole deal, right? I want people to feel comfortable here. I want people to feel like they don't have to be perfect or speak perfectly or, you know, be the most professional. I mean, if any of you have ever watched The Candid Kennel, you guys know that we're cracking jokes and being stupid and, you know, misspeaking all the time. But that's not the point. We're not here to be perfect. We're here to make something. We're here to talk to our community and connect. And it's kind of the reason why I'm not super fussed about big numbers. I'm not here to make number go up. I'm here to make stuff that I think is cool. And hey, if that leads to people seeing more of my stuff and my number going up, great. That's, you know, that just means that I can connect with more people and maybe be able to do this more often. But that's not the reason I'm here. The reason I'm here is because I have something that I think is cool. I like being on the internet. I like being a dog on the internet. And I want to be something that people can enjoy. I don't want to min-max my life, you know? I don't want to min-max my, like, sure, like, there's a level of, like, this is kind of my career. But I don't want to just twist every penny out of the thing that I care about so much. I want to just... I'm in it for my community. I'm in it to give as much love and kindness and joy to my community as here is goddamn possible. I just want people to... Yeah, it's like, I think I'm just here to provide something cool to my community. I want my community to have something that matters. And if I'm the reason that somebody gets a new perspective or gets something that matters to them and connects with them, that's all I care about. I don't care about my number being big or my, you know, having the best quality camera or the greatest mic ever or like whatever, like that shit. I don't care about like making perfect music. I care about expressing myself. And if expressing myself is the reason why I get to do this more often, that's all I want. That sounds pretty great to me. Pretty dang cool.